All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Unsealed podcast, the official podcast of Wings of the Eagle. Christopher Manti is me. We're going to jump right into this today without any further ado and bring on our most honored special guest, T-Rex. What's going on, sister?
Not too much.
I don't believe that. In fact,
at the exact moment,
right this second, okay,
I'm sitting in a chair.
But the past couple days, we've each had a very interesting night.
Mm-hmm.
And hello, bond servant. Speaking of, we're just talking about you.
Yep.
Yay.
Hi.
Feel free to say hello, whoever you are, by the way, and please share this as always. The normal stuff, like and subscribe, hit the bell, yada yada yada. Support the channel, especially Wings of the Eagle channel. Okay. So obviously we've got a lot going on, and you saw I was on last night, and because this new trailer had come out, and people are kind of perking up and maybe getting a little happy or worried or concerned or excited, all that together. With this topic, it really seems to be advancing, and so, but then there's this little issue about what we've come to call, or the media has come to call, mystery drones, not media drones. Mystery drones, quote unquote. That's what they settled on, it looks like, right?
Right. It's a silly name, but we use it.
Quite silly, like Monty Python would approve.
Yes.
It is. But what those are, obviously, we're not exactly sure. And it goes back to November, if y'all remember. It started, we think, in England, in the UK, but it may have been in the Jersey, NYC area before that. We're not exactly sure, but somewhere mid-November, this thing started. And then around Thanksgiving, it really got serious because there are a lot of air bases in the UK that America and the UK shared, were experiencing a lot of issues with these things that they couldn't identify, and they couldn't chase down, and they couldn't shoot down, and they couldn't know where they were coming from or where they were going. Oh, that's weird. Indeed, it is. And then all of a sudden, it blew up over everywhere in New Jersey. I mean, that's my state. Okay. So if y'all know, I'm from there. I'm from northern New Jersey originally. And so I took this kind of like, yeah, I know where that is. I know where that is. I know where that is. That's my town. I grew up there. Like, all that stuff now is very real. And I'm still not far from there now. But it was so, it blew up over the news. Everyone's talking about it. And like the UFO issue generally, many times people will see things, and then the hysteria kind of starts going, and people think they see weird stuff when it's not weird stuff. It's just normal stuff that they're really not looking for normally. All that is true, right? Yeah. It's just a fact. And just like most UFO reports are not legitimate or not real UFO objects, they're explainable, they're normal, they're man-made stuff, they're natural stuff, whatever. But there's always been a percentage that is legitimate. And same thing with this. So not every claim of a anomalous drone object or whatever is legitimate, obviously. But consistently, since November, there have been legitimate ones. Weird stuff. We've all seen the pictures, haven't we, by now? Mm-hmm. Some videos of some crazy turns, stuff like that. Various sizes. Now you've got all of a sudden the mayors and police chiefs and Coast Guard guys and all these official people who are not trying to make a name for themselves are saying this is really going on. And I saw it myself. It was over my house. It was the size of a school bus. Crazy. Not drone, right? Not a drone that you would get, or that you could find. Anyway, set up this whole topic is it's some folks maybe were under the impression that it was going away, or it stopped, or that was weird and now it's over. President Trump was asked, remember a couple of weeks ago before the inauguration, was like, hey, what's going on? We know something weird is going on. He's like, yeah, the government knows, but I'll get to the bottom of it within a day or two or whatever he said. Right after getting into office. All right.
Apparently.
It's been 4 days. We're still waiting for that update. But it seems like because the gaslighting that was going on from everywhere, the top is nobody knows anything, and if you do think it's weird, you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So then you know something's up. So anyway, okay, let's zoom in now. I guess I'll go first since it happened first.
Okay.
And then you can go, okay? So T-Rex and I are very close friends. We share this passion for for the Lord and for this topic. Just happens to be that way, and we're trying to look at this whole thing very seriously and soberly and as fair as we can, without prejudging and whatever. But we're open to the fact that weird stuff happens. So, I had never. I mean, a couple of months. Last year I had a silver sphere thing over a highway I was driving under. You all heard that story, but this is nothing since then weird at all to me, except maybe Tuesday night. So 2 days ago, I'm driving back home from my son's high school. My younger one, he's 14. He's in the car with me. Driving home 8:00 at night. I can show you on a map exactly where this happened. And right, we're stopping at a red light, and coming from the direction of the Philadelphia International Airport, which obviously planes go to and from all the time. We see them every day, constantly. We know the flight paths. So it's like, oh, there's a plane. It looks low. I mean, it looks extra low tonight. Okay. Again, not totally weird. If it's cloudy, these things happen. But it looks too small to be low. But it's lit up like a plane, right? It's got the right lights in the right places, and it's the right shape. It's going slow, but how could it? It's just like, okay, that's odd, and it's not getting higher. It's like, okay, well, maybe it took off because it's low from the airport, but now that it's going away from the airport, and it's the opposite direction, which should be ascending. I figure at some point going up to cruising altitude or whatever, but it didn't. It just stayed there, right. We're sitting at the red light. We're just looking right at eye level. I didn't hear anything. Granted, we were in the car. Didn't hear anything. I would maybe expect to hear something if it was a jet that close, but whatever.
Yeah.
No big thing. Doesn't really say either, here nor there. But it's just kind of cruising. It's just like this in front of your eye. Like that's how fast it was.
Wow.
And it's just like chilling, like straight as an arrow. Not going up, not going down, not turning. Huh. And it goes through the intersection. So now I'm looking out the window, the passenger window, where my son is, and it's just straight, and it's not moving anywhere, doing anything. But then it kind of makes his turn to the right. Not a huge angle turn, but a turn. But I didn't see a bank, when you say a bank, like an airplane, you have to bank like that.
Yep.
To turn, right?
Right.
That's how physics works. You don't do one of these things, I couldn't swear in a court of law on this, but it definitely didn't look like a bank. It looked like and then it went out of sight, and that was the end. And now the light screen, like, oh crap, I gotta go. But I'm still trying to see it go down. I see it going down this next street that we're not turning on. Unfortunately, it's just going down that way. So anyway, it took us about 2 or 3 minutes to get home from there. And of course, now I stayed out in my driveway like a crazy person. I'm trying to find it again, but it's gone. So I'm like, I wonder what that was exactly. Am I being ridiculous, or is that one of those things? And I didn't say anything to my son, but then it came up last night, and I'm like, "Hey, son, do you remember, last night when we were driving home that did you see a weird airplane?" He's like, "Yeah, you saw that too." It's like we didn't even mention it.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah,
it is weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, So people can dismiss that or whatever, and maybe I dismiss it. I'm just saying, like, it checks some of the boxes for sure to this weird mystery drone thing. And I don't live in New Jersey. Now, where that was going was New Jersey. If it continued on its path, just so y'all can get the picture, I'm right near the border. All right. So it can get there in about 2 minutes into South Jersey.
Right.
So it's very possible that's where it went, just so you know. So if anyone had some weird anomalous mystery drone over South Jersey Tuesday night, maybe I caught that. Okay. So that happened, and I didn't mention it all to you, right? I didn't mention it to anybody, actually, until you told me something last night, right as soon as I got off that like breaking news whatever video last night about this movie coming out. And then Taryn is like frantically caps texting.
Which I never do. I'm not into that.
No, well, I know that's serious because she doesn't do that.
I don't do it.
So now your turn.
Yelling. Yes, I'm actually yelling.
Yeah.
And I'm texting all caps. I was freaking out though. I think it's funny that you two didn't mention it to each other, that what you saw, because it's just not in my nature. I'd be yelling. Even if I was next to the world's biggest skeptic in the car, I'd be like, there's a rat! Ah! But yeah, that's awesome. I expected both of us to see, we're both on the East Coast. I'm Western New England. Close enough to the phenomena. People in my town have seen some drones. I have been out drone hunting several nights, like just as like a hobby, just looking at the sky. Of course, I've had a classical saucer sighting in the year, I would estimate the year 2000, in the Hudson Valley region in New York, where I saw 4 or 5, traditional looking silver discs at noon, like middle of the day, flying in and out of the clouds very high up and performing maneuvers that are absolutely impossible for any kind of technology that we possess then or currently, I believe. My father is a retired lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, and he actually works for the FAA still, even though he's near retirement age. So I did grow up around planes. I got to go into a stealth bomber like right around the time that we learned that existed at an air show, stuff like that. So I'm not an expert on aviation, but I know when I was a child, my dad and I would hang out, and he would, take me and show me different planes, and he can tell you exactly what he's seeing in the air. So since the mystery drone sightings, I've taken video of what I knew were airplanes and different kinds of helicopters flying, to the military base and stuff, to try to orient myself also to just, I don't want to mistake anything for one of these.
Right.
Maybe that happens. It can still happen, but my goal was to kind of be really deliberate about it, as much as I could, and also send photographs when I've found like helicopter flight paths, like a Chinook, Black Hawk, like coming, through my general airspace above my home towards a military base. And in fact, we've had many, 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 many helicopters in the past, well, really since the summertime. I don't know if I didn't notice them before and they're just doing routine drills, but I've been noticing them more lately. So anyway, last night, it's very cold, very dark. My husband and I heard the sound of what I and he both believed was a helicopter. But as it increased in volume, it was a low propeller-like sound, but I would say it was more rapid than a traditional helicopter. And I started to question, is that a helicopter? It's definitely not a plane. So it was almost like the vibrato of the propellers was too fast, but it was low pitched. So I looked through some woods and I located it from my living room window, flying from the direction of a mountain that I can see only in the wintertime through the trees. So I didn't have a super clear look at it at this point, but I spotted it. And as it moved closer, I started to notice that it was not a helicopter. We are talking about a row of between 5 and 7 lights. I've made a drawing, so I drew 6, going through like a central area, and then 4 more lights on the sides, but they weren't perfectly symmetrical like wings. It was like 2 over here, 2 over here. The lights through the center column were just shining bright white, and there was red and green, and I think they were kind of flashing on the sides. But of course, when I saw it through the trees can make lights look like they're flashing as something passes.
Yeah, right.
It was much higher, so it was very, very loud, which is nothing like a lot of the traditional mystery drones that we're learning about recently, which are silent. Loud, but a strange a strange volume. And I realized this thing is massive. It's fairly high in the sky and way bigger than an airplane, like the largest cargo jet or something that you can possibly imagine. It was at least double that size. So the size of it. So I ran into the snow barefoot. I did not have time to grab my phone because it was passing over really fast. To the other side, I got a good clear look at it, and yes, that's where I saw what it looked like. Really, it was the 6 central, 6 or 7, maybe 5 central lights, and then 2. And I had a few seconds of watching it cruise right through our side yard and over our neighbor's house. This is my incredibly
Yes, please produce the drone.
fantastic artwork. So all you're looking at here is little dots representing the lights and how they're asymmetrical. It was probably a little more together on this side, but they were asymmetrical.
So it was not equal on both. They were different on
Slightly different. Yeah. It was like these 2 were closer together. These were further apart. I don't know what the craft looked like, but this is how a helicopter would appear at that height, roughly, to my estimation.
That's good. Yeah, that's helpful, actually. Right. So if someone's imagining a helicopter or a standard helicopter, that's what the size. So basically a tiny fraction of what this is.
Really, really strange thing I saw. I don't know what it was. It was enormous. And even my husband, he talked about the size of it. And then I texted you and you looked up flight tracker and there was nothing in the air here. There was a Black Hawk helicopter running, like flying perimeters around the base. It's to our kind of our south.
That's what I was gonna say. We checked immediately the flight tracker app and there was, and I took a screenshot, but we're not going to show it just to protect Taryn's privacy. But there was nothing. I mean, the whole region around where you live was empty, except for, so nothing was transponding. That's all we know. Obviously, things can fly that don't transpond. That's either illegal or military or something else. But there was nothing except for, like you just said, one Black Hawk doing an elliptical, like you could see it over and over and over, just around the same location. I assume it's the base where they are at.
Yeah.
Because there is a facility near you.
Yes. There's several locations for that where, like, there's several landing strips, I believe.
Well, whatever that was it was circling, it wasn't leaving. It looked to me like it was on patrol. Or setting up a perimeter or making sure nothing got in that right now.
Right.
That's what it looked like. Because all it was over and over and over, just the same elliptical pattern around this small area. So I don't know. Okay. That was it. There was no other airplanes.
I've never seen anything that large. It was big.
And this app,
really large.
The flight tracker will do any airplane, commercial airplane, any small Cessna, any helicopter, anything that's in the air that's transponding, it will see. And there was nothing. Yeah.
And then the central lights were very symmetrical.
That is insane. Okay. I cannot, I hope if anyone has an intelligent comment about this, please just type it in right now. Cause I don't know what that is. I don't know what it could possibly be. What possible use is there for a row of center lights under an aircraft.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even gauge the shape of the craft. It was nothing. I mean, it flew like an airplane, straight line. It made a weird sound, you know. But
It's a giant helicopter. It's the biggest helicopter ever built, basically.
Way bigger.
But it's shaped like the lights are airplane shaped. And it's wow. How is that even possible? Like, why would you need the propeller is or the wings? You can't fly both ways. I mean, I guess you could build something that's like a monstrosity or whatever, but I don't see how that would serve any purpose. And to have the lights offset like that, I don't know what purpose that would serve. Somebody help me.
Well, and when I say it was high up, it was what I would say would be high, low altitude. You know, it wasn't cruising altitude of a jet or anything like that, you know.
Right. So 30,000 feet is so far up you could barely see it, or, you know, to leaving a contrail or whatever. And like 10,000 feet, I guess would be pretty low.
Yeah, well above the tree line, you know, but close enough so that it appeared substantial.
And you heard it.
Large. Yeah,
I mean,
it was amazing.
Loudly in your home.
Yeah, it was amazing, the sound of it. It was weird. As the sound kept going, I started to realize I'm asking questions about what this is. This doesn't sound. I've been paying a lot of attention to various aircraft, and this is not sounding right. And I, of course, didn't get any photo because I had to just run. But I thought it was a helicopter at first, and you know.
So your first impression was your brain's interpreting that sound to be a helicopter rotor because it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
But the more you listen to it, the more it's not. Basically, was it more like a? I'm just trying to picture it myself, like a almost like an maybe an energetic, like a humming, like a vibration type of thing, or did it really sound like a fan?
It was like it was trying to pretend it was a helicopter, but it was.
That's really what I think. It was doing a really poor job of being something that you wouldn't notice.
I don't know. I checked my town's like community forums last night and this morning, and then I looked up all kinds of aircraft and like, you know, Starlink and everything else just to compare, and I found no aircraft like it, and nothing in my community forums that I've seen so far. So,
wow. Well, I guess if you find some other kind of communication or witness or explanation, you'll tell us. But
yes,
I'm not expecting that. Are you? An official follow-up or something?
Somebody else had to have heard and seen it. Like many people had to have heard and seen it. Whether there are people who want to post online about it is another matter. I mean, I did not.
Yeah.
So far, well, I mean, I'm doing this, but
it's only because I basically made you.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it
was so. In other words, it was so large and so loud that how could someone else not have heard it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was an awe-inspiring looking thing.
Wow.
I mean, I was awestruck. It was big.
Like we went all through this last night when it was going on, and then this morning getting the drawing or whatever and trying to understand it. And at first, right, you were like, well, it sounds more like what you saw fits the description more of this mystery drone thing. And then, but after hearing what you said, I'm like, I don't think so. I think yours does. You can kind of dismiss mine way more easily.
Well, a lot of people are seeing all kinds of things, so I wouldn't dismiss either of them.
If I had to choose one though, that was weird, that was anomalous, potentially would be yours.
I wouldn't know. I mean, and I'm not an expert, but it was absolutely crazy looking.
So just so we all know, there is no such thing as a jumbo jet super tanker with propellers.
Right.
It just don't exist. And why would it? It's not engineering. It's not how these things would fly, too heavy. Yeah. But anyways, so thank you for sharing that. And obviously, I just kind of wanted to get these out here today for the folks because I just want to make it clear. It's an ongoing situation. It's bigger than just some towns in New Jersey or maybe some crazy mayors that you think are making stuff up or exaggerating or don't know what they're looking at or whatever you might think. I don't know. But it's not fake. And whatever it is, I always put the mystery drones in quotes because they're clearly, the legitimate ones are not drones.
Right. It's just a funny name. It's like, it's an air quote.
It's an ironic name, yes. Because the heavy on the mystery, light on the drones. Because they're just, to me, it seems like, I could be mistaken and whatever, but it seems like this, what you would call the phenomenon, is the mystery drone. That they are, whatever that is, or they are, or it is doing this.
Yeah.
And it's like, instead of just going flat out flying saucer or, orbs of light or whatever, we're gonna really mess with your mind right now and say that's sort of familiar, but something's off.
That's true. That is true. Something's off. I mean, asking questions.
That was my impression looking at what I saw, and that was yours.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, the thing was doing, I don't know, it was doing a weird job at that.
Right, it's kind of failing at hiding.
I don't know. It's just I'm feeling for someone who's trying to pay attention for months, and not freak out about every little thing. But
no, not you. I'm saying it was failing at its job for trying to be a helicopter or whatever.
At least to me. I don't know.
Of course.
Other people might have been.
Yes, I think you're absolutely spot on.
Sounding like a helicopter, looking like I don't know what. It was a janky looking thing, but
that's insane.
Yeah. But Bond Servant's experience is the one I would choose of the three of ours.
Well,
of our friend group.
We're gonna extend an invitation to Bond Servant. She just, that there's her review of your story right there.
Yeah. She already knows. I told her to. I don't keep things to myself.
Not this one.
I guess what everyone.
Check this out, guys. But no, yeah, Bond Servant. So she's had a very recent situation as well, and so I want to bring her on separately. I think to talk about that. Just her by herself. But anyway, yeah. So stuff is going on and happening, and we can wrap it up here, you guys, unless somebody has a question or a comment or whatever that they want to bring up to T-Rex right now or myself. But I just thought it important to relate that it's not over, it's ongoing, it's outside of New Jersey, apparently, and it's happening to new people, right? It's not just the same old folks over and over or whatever we might think. It's not a toy. What you saw was not out of the Walmart. What I saw was not off of Amazon. It was either a legit regular old plane and I should just go on with my life, or it was one of these things.
It was a mystery drone on a mobility scooter. No, I'm just kidding. That's why it sounded like a helicopter.
Yeah, right. Maybe it was getting along. It's along in age, and it should maybe it had some surgery, right? Maybe a broken ankle or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, they're still there. I think we saw them. I think at least I'm pretty sure you did. And so I just wanted to, get some encouragement out there to the folks and please, Donald Trump, do what you said. Mm-hmm. I'm serious about this. This is not a political thing at all. Please do what you said. Get to the bottom of this. If it really is something that we're just not telling, reveal that. And by the way, while you're at it, get all the JFK and all the UFO files out tomorrow. Thank you. I just want it out there now in the ether.
Good job.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, so yeah, it's serious and people are concerned. Dude, it's flying over the lady's house. I mean, deliberately, directly, right over the house. This is not out in the middle of a city where, things just go overhead sometimes and that's whatever. You don't live in a city. I mean, you don't, right? You're in it's a small town situation. Like, this is not cool to have giant things flying over your house. let's take care of this. Okay. All right. That's it, guys. Thanks so much for being a part of this. Ms. T-Rex, I'll see you on the other side. Rock and roll. All right. Very good, folks. Please tune in, and whenever you can, again, share this, tell somebody about it, support the channel, hit the subscribe button here. We have a Patreon as well, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're ongoing, man. We're in the middle of something. And obviously, we're here. If you want to communicate, you can send me a message on X right there at Manti4. Or you can do a lot of stuff. Anyway, we'll see you next time on the Unsealed podcast. Wings of the Eagle, Christopher Manti is me. And boy, it seems like we're in for a wild and bumpy ride. Till next time.